Hi, everyone. So I am going to hang out for a moment and make sure that everyone can see us and hear us. I think yesterday there was like a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning and people said they couldn't see me. So let me know if you guys can hear and see. Hi, Tori. Hi, Nurse Flipper and Dresden Avenue and Molly. Such amazing people in the chat already. Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, just let us know if you can hear us and see us. Hi, Cardiff Closet. Good to see you again. I am also going to try to open up my own YouTube window here so I can see the comments a little faster. Hi, Molly. Okay, good. So they can hear and see us. I have with me the beautiful and amazing Courtney from Courtney on Posh. So hi, Courtney. Thank you so much for being here.
Becky, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for those who are tuning in, and good luck with your summer listing challenge. You guys are impressing me, so it's really cool to see that.
I know, people are amazing. Like, people have been really astounding me with the amount that they're listing and stuff. Like, I have them send in their numbers at the end of the night, and I should share this with like the people in the chat too. I just give them like the total number that everyone has contributed to, but there are like individuals who are like cross-listing over 100 things in one day. And I'm just like,
that's
crazy. Yeah, it is amazing. So we have Courtney here because she actually knows so much about so many different things, but I wanted to bring her on for a couple of reasons. One, Courtney is actually the first and only person that I'm going to have during this live series this week who is also part-time, and she's also a teacher. So can you tell us a little bit about like what kind of teacher you are and how you juggle, you know, reselling as well as teaching full-time?
Yeah, great question. I get this a lot. I think it's important to talk about too, because a lot on social media, there's that narrative that like the end game is like full time, and that's amazing for the people that that's true for. But for so many of us, we are really content with what we do in our day-to-day life, and this is just more of a supplement. And I think it's okay if that's where you're at. Like, I think that's more than okay, and I think it's important to have those voices. So the balance is kind of just figuring out and planning, sourcing and listing and all of those things around your priorities that you have. So for me, I'm working in the mornings. So that means a lot of weekends or evenings is when I'm going to be sourcing or listing and photographing.
Awesome. And what do you teach again?
I teach pre-K. I work specifically with 3-year-olds.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, my son is 3. You could come here and like teach him and just put him on for the moment. Like, you need to go somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. But that also sounds like it's very draining of your energy to be around 3-year-olds.
I love it. It's like that creative, and this has a lot to do with why I love the photography aspect of reselling so much. Is because it's that creative channel getting to work with the kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I think, like you said, you are definitely an important voice in all of this when we think about reselling, because I think a lot of the people here too, like Songbird92, she said, yay for another teacher who resells, me too, but in Canada. And I think there are a lot of people who are reselling on the side. And like you said, they're not necessarily looking to go into it full time. There are some who like that's their end goal, but for some, it's just like, it's a great way to make some supplemental income, but we also love what we're doing, you know, for our full-time gigs. So that's really cool. The second reason why I have you here is because your pictures of you, especially when you model your pictures, are so gorgeous. And I know that we've talked a little bit on your Instagram about how you were a pageant girl growing up and all that stuff. And that's part of the reason why you're so comfortable in front of the camera, you know, modeling and whatnot. But can you talk to us a little bit about why you like to model your pictures and maybe even the process a little bit of like how you do it in an efficient manner? Because I've seen, I don't remember if it was a video that you posted or you had something on Instagram where you showed like, this is how I do it in a quick and efficient way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I actually started off as a photographer. So when I was 16, I took money from my college savings that I wasn't supposed to touch. I bought a camera without my parents' permission, and I started shooting. And one of my local magazines saw what I was shooting with my friends and actually invited me to be one of their staff photographers.
Oh my gosh.
I got in all this trouble with my parents because it was like, I wasn't even supposed to have this camera.
Mm-hmm.
So after that happened, one of the big ways with photography to make money was in pageants, because pageant girls will spend a ton of money for their headshots. So I started doing pageant headshots, and in order to kind of fully understand exactly what they needed, I realized that I had to step into the pageant world and see exactly what it was about. So I started doing pageants, and that was great because it helped. I shot for Miss USA, for a bunch of their different state pageants, and it was a really great opportunity.
That's
but
amazing.
I don't like modeling. My goal, I started modeling during quarantine because it's only me and my husband, and you don't want to see him in the clothes.
I bet some people would. Like, that'd be pretty fun.
So eventually down the line, once everything reopens, I definitely want to have a couple models on hand, of different sizes, and that way it doesn't have to be me. Because if it's you, it's really hard with self-timers and everything to get those shots.
Yeah. So it seems like you really value showing your clothes on models, whether it is yourself or, like you said, once quarantine is over, once, hopefully the world gets back to normal, you want to hire some models to come in. So why is it that you believe modeling is like the best way, in your opinion, to go about showing your clothes?
I wouldn't say it's the best. I think it depends on you and what aesthetic you're going for. I think you can be successful anyway. But I just think there are certain items. I really like to sell a lot of maxi dresses and long, lengthy dresses. And I just think that hangers and mannequins just don't really do that justice. So I prefer the modeled shots. And I'm really trying to move away from stock images because you're legally not supposed to even use them. They're copyrighted and not for you. So I'm really, really trying to move away from those.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge undertaking, and I applaud you for, trying to show the clothes in the best way possible. Like you said, especially for some pieces like maxi dresses and stuff. I just photographed some maxi dresses today on the hanger against the wall, and I was like, oh God, like they have no shape. They just kind of like hang there. And I'm like, that's the best I can do. Yeah. But I feel
I remember when I started, I would like take tape and I would like try to make shape on the wall with the maxi dresses.
Yeah.
The hanger, because it just wouldn't it was, the struggle is real.
I've done that with like cold shoulder tops. Like you're just trying to like double-sided tape or whatever, and you have like half of a second before the tape loses its stick. You're just so it's so crazy. Can you talk to us a little bit then about what your setup looks like for when you do model your own shots?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a studio, but I think that I'll talk about it in more of a way that would be more recreatable for resellers. So Becky, I know you have a softbox that you use. You can get soft boxes. You can have one, or you can have one on each side. And then instead of using the cloth backgrounds that a lot of people use, I actually like to use what's called a seamless paper roll, because with that, as long as you have wood flooring and not carpet flooring, you're able to stand on it and use it multiple times. And it's just going to give you this nice white background where you don't have to go in and edit the photos at all. It just already looks beautiful, like a studio shot. Whereas the cloth is going to be wrinkled, and then you have to go in and try to fix the background. So I really, really highly suggest seamless paper.
Seamless paper. And where can someone get something like that if they were interested in it?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. H Photo is another great one. That's a photography website, but Amazon has it as well.
Awesome. And do you think that's a good alternative as well for people who maybe they don't want to model, but they don't have a really good space in their house where they have like a white wall or anything like that? Would that be a good option for people who want to just like put stuff against the wall? Or
yeah, you could do that, or you could go to Lowe's or Home Depot and they have like really big white boards. Because the thing with seamless paper is you're kind of creating this like background that goes from the top all the way down to the ground so that you don't see anything but white. Whereas if you're just trying to use the wall, you don't really need that. You're not photographing the floor. unless it was like a full mannequin and you wanted the floor in it, then maybe I would do the seamless background. But otherwise, you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and they have, forget what it's called, but they have like these white pieces of board that you can get and you can shoot against those.
Awesome. And then you had mentioned a self-timer. So are you using like the little, you don't have one of those little Bluetooth things? Or are you just like pressing something on your camera and then like running to the spot where you're going to take your picture? Is that what you're doing?
Great question. I have a Bluetooth remote, but I don't have a battery for it, and I'm lazy for some reason. I haven't ordered another one. So for the last 2 months, I've been pressing a button and running in high heels. Don't recommend.
Yes. Okay. So I think, was it a video? Was it a YouTube video or on your Instagram that you showed kind of the process of you photographing? I don't remember how many outfits it was, but you showed it somewhere. And then
Instagram story.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. And you talked a little bit about like how you do it in the most efficient way possible. What tips do you have? Because I know with modeling, there is a lot of like, you're changing a lot and you're having to, maybe accessorize something differently, or you need different shoes or whatever. So what are things that you're doing to make that process a little faster?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like to wear heels because I feel like heels, no matter how you're posing, kind of give your body a little bit more curve. So even jeans, sometimes I'll wear heels just because you get that hip hop that you wouldn't in flat. I also like to group and photograph by color. So if I have a bunch of like dresses, I'm going to put my blues and my greens together so that if I am wearing any accessories, I can keep the same one on.
Oh, that's
and change the color. Same thing with like jeans, for example. If you want to have a top, like a white top on, and then you can change your jeans as many times as you want, and you can even switch to skirts if it's a skirt that will style well with the top that you have on. Just trying to streamline it where you don't have to change as much, because otherwise it's like can be an all-day ordeal.
Yeah. So that's smart. Like the example of you've got a white top and you've got a bunch of jeans that you're going to do in a row. So you're not changing your entire outfit, but it's literally just the bottoms and it's just go, go, go. But it's one of those things that you have to be thinking ahead. You can't just kind of like, oh, let's just see what happens. Like these are all the things I wanted to model, So for the items that, are not in your size, what is your go-to way of photographing those things?
So currently I am just using my hanger, but like I said, as soon as things are lifted with quarantine and I feel safe, I will have someone who's a smaller size than me to bring those in and wear it, or a larger size if it's a larger size item.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's like so interesting because I feel like there are a few people who sell on Poshmark and different platforms who really value model pictures to the point that they will hire models, and so do you feel like you're more drawn to purchasing something if you see it on like a human body?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm 5'10", so for me, it's not only important to see those pictures, but to know how tall the model in the photo is. Yeah. Because sometimes I'll see things on sites and I'm like, this is so beautiful, and I'll get it and it's like a mini dress on me, but it's supposed to be a midi.
So you and I have the opposite problem because I am 5 feet tall. So I would love to like meet you in person and us just like you and your heels too, right? Like just us walking down the street together and people will be like, okay, like that's quite the pairing. So you put, I assume, in your description then for all of your pictures, your height and all that kind of stuff, so people have an idea of what the model's dimensions are.
So I actually don't. Because I'm trying to use up that space to put in as many keywords as I can with the item. So what I'll do instead is when someone asks about fit, I'll say, in my opinion, this fits true to size or run small. Also, I'm 5'10".
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like I've seen a few people's Poshmark closets where, things are modeled and they'll put that information, but you're trying to use that space to do other things. And like you said, you're trying to put as many keywords as in there. Can we talk about that a little bit? Because I don't think we've talked very much with anyone really about writing descriptions yet for things like Poshmark or eBay or whatever. So I feel like, generally speaking, I have a hard time using up all the characters in the description. And here you are like trying to save all the space you can because you want to use up all the characters. what kind of information are you putting in the description?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with every piece I have, and at this point it's great because it's streamlined and I have templates for different things, but I think about who is going to wear this item. So a really great example for me and for you is because we're teachers, we know what the teacher dress code is. So for a lot of items, I can say things, and I put this at the very bottom of my description, but I'll say things like office, business casual, professional, teacher, TA, administrator, and I'll just put in all these words, or vice versa. Maybe it's a beautiful sundress and I'll put resort, vacation, cruise. Maybe it has a Hawaiian vibe. I just imagine where people would be wearing it, because for me, when I shop using that kind of language.
That's so smart. I've heard of more and more people doing that, I feel like, and I haven't really jumped on that bandwagon yet, but it sounds really smart because, like you said, no one is out there there might be a handful of people looking up like cute dress or, but most people are looking for office casual or, business casual or office casual. That's not a thing, but business casual or like office clothes or, so that makes a lot of sense to then put those words that apply to the kind of thing that you're trying to sell in your description. That's smart. And so you have templates for that, you said?
I do. And there's certain words that definitely work better than others. Like, so for example, the words modest and conservative are huge. Make sure that the item really is. Also, the words nursing friendly or maternity friendly. So nursing friendly if it can unbutton, and maternity friendly if there's room for a bump, because sometimes it might not actually be a maternity dress, but I have a ton of Faithful the label or Faithful the brand dresses that they're not maternity dresses, but they fit a bump just fine. So little things like that can go a really long way.
I love that. That is brilliant. So I'm going to have to rethink some of my description writing here. And I forget, I know you also sell on ThreadUp, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. What other platforms are you selling on? Are you selling on anything else other than Poshmark?
Yeah, I have 5 platforms. So I do Poshmark, Macari, eBay up to 50 items because I don't have a store. I just do the monthly 50. And I just try to pick my 50 highest priced items. Or if it's like a super niche item where I know that someone like really specific is looking for that, like snowboard boots or something like that. And then TradeZ and ThreadUp.
Nice. So do you feel like the way that you write your description, it kind of carries over from platform to platform?
Yeah, absolutely. And just like you, I use List Perfectly. So I do everything on Poshmark, and then I just use List Perfectly to put it everywhere else, except for obviously ThreadUp where you have to send items in.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's funny too that you talk about like teacher dress code, because I feel like my school, there is no dress code. There are math teachers that come to school in sweatpants every day. Like I just wear like distressed jeans, like nobody cares. And I'm like, you guys should really force us to look a little more professional here. But like literally nobody cares. But there are a lot of people who are looking to look professional, like you said. So I think that's really good to have that information in there. Are you dressing up to work with 3-year-olds?
Yeah, I work at a private school, so a church affiliated school as well. So we have a dress code.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so I think we did have a couple questions on Instagram regarding like pictures and all that kind of stuff. And one of them was about lighting, which you kind of answered. You said that you use like a light box, but someone was asking, do you have any suggestions on how to set up a good lighting system without buying a big light box? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Find a giant window and don't stand in front of it during direct light, but during indirect light, stand. So right now, like right here, this is direct light on my hand. But if I come over here, you see a lot more detail because it's indirect light. So I would set up my background right here and not here. This is backwards for my hand.
Yeah. And then coming from the perspective of someone who, started off as a photographer, what other like tips or hacks do you have for us when it comes to photography?
Good question. Bad light can make items look dirty. So even if they're not. So especially items like linen or silk that wrinkle really easy. So especially with those items, if you use natural light and you have a certain time of day that's like your best time to photograph, items that wrinkle easy or bunch up easy, I would prioritize to photograph those during your best daylight time because it look the cleanest.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. And then do you use just like your phone, or do you have like a professional grade camera, I'm assuming?
I use a mix of both.
Okay.
I have a Canon 5D, and then I also use the iPhone. I think I have an iPhone X or something.
I know. It's like there's so many different models of the iPhone. I'm like, I don't know which one I'm on right now. Like,
and then as soon as you do know, you upgrade.
I know. It's like y'all need to calm down. Okay. And then when you take a picture with your seamless paper roll, is that what it was called? Okay. Do you find that you still have to do any editing? And if so, what kind of editing tools are you using?
I don't have to do any editing. If I need to, I would use either Lightroom. So Lightroom is for small things. Photoshop if there is something like really big. My dog walked in the picture and I need to her or something. That happens a lot.
Oh my gosh. But you're able to get rid of her with Photoshop. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Well, that's helpful. You don't have to retake all those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, I know one of the things you wanted to talk about, because this is also something that you're really good at. And it is something that I've talked about in some videos before, but it's how do you utilize social media in a way that brings more traffic to your reselling platforms and just in general helps you make more sales. So can you speak to that a little bit? Because you do have a pretty big following on Instagram. And if you guys are not following her right now, I have it down, you know, at the bottom of the screen. And Courtney also has a YouTube channel. She did a series of really great interviews herself with some really amazing resellers. So definitely check that out. And she has other videos too. Like you had that one on ThreadUp about like, you know, not so amazing experience, but definitely make sure you check out her channel and subscribe as well. But how are you utilizing social media to drum up business for your reselling business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the biggest thing with mostly all social medias is people go in thinking that it's going to be a really great way to monetize, and it can. However, you have to remember that it's not always a direct hard sell like buy this, now I'm having a sale, now buy this. What you can do instead, and what I love to do is, for example, I'll take a picture, see if I can pull this up. I'll take a picture of my packages, and I always make sure to have my shoes in the picture. And I'll make sure that the shoes that I'm wearing are shoes that I'm selling. So let's see if this will work. So I'm wearing Paula Johnson shoes. And then I don't say anything in the caption about the shoes, but the minute somebody comments, oh, these are cute shoes, I'll jokingly in the comments say, oh, thanks. If you're a size 9, they're in my Poshmark. And equally on YouTube, I'll always wear something that is currently for sale in my Poshmark closet. So if someone says, oh, I really like what you're wearing, where's that dress from? I can say, thanks, it's Gail Meets Glam. If you're a size 8, it's in my closet.
So genius.
Lots of sneaky ways to get those brands in there.
And it's genius because it's not pushy. You know, it's not car salesman-y, which you do see a lot of that on Instagram. You see a lot of like, this is what's new in my closet. Like, please come shop. Like, I'm accepting any and all offers. And like, there can be a time and place for that too, you know, especially if like you don't do it that often, but people who are doing it like every single day, like there's not a lot of people out there wanting to follow those kind of accounts because they're not really providing any value as far as like, how can you grow as a reseller? So I love that you just kind of sneakily put that in there. And what would you say your success rate is with doing something like that?
So with the shoes, I always, without fail, sell them either same day or next day. Granted, I do have a larger following, but even in the beginning when I first started doing it, the shoes would always sell. I like to think I pick out cute shoes.
Yeah.
But, and I will wear just for the photograph. I'm just putting them on for the photograph. I'm not actually wearing them. Yeah. And I can go. My foot can fit anywhere from a size 7 to a size 10. So I try to mix up the shoe size a little bit too, so that I'm not always just catering to one person.
Do you think that would work for me? I wear like a youth size 2 or like a women's 4. This is my issue. Like I'm just so small. Like none of that work. Like I feel like people would have to look at my shoes and I'd be like, oh, like does your daughter want them? Like they are a size 2 that like most 12-year-olds are wearing. It is.
But right there, like exactly what you just said, like that's the perfect kind of like fun, spunky comment.
Yeah.
Where it's like you just sold that, but you weren't even trying.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have a daughter, and I'm like, these are really cute. Sold.
That's true. I gotta try it, I guess. All right, so we do have a super chat, and this is from New England Betty Boop. Thank you so much for the $5. She said, thank you so much, Becky and Courtney. Gotta run. I'll catch the replay. Have a good night. Hit the thumbs up, everyone. Yes, like please do hit that thumbs up. Thank you for the reminder. And if you guys have been tuning into the live videos that I've been doing all week, you know that all of the super chats or super stickers or whatever, I'm trying to support a really great charity or organization with that money, and whatever you guys donate, I will match. And today, Courtney and I decided on this charity here, which is Black Girls Code. And actually, I think it was 2 days ago when I went live with Mogi Beth, someone donated like $20, and she's like, please give this money to Black Girls Code, which is why we looked into it. Courtney, do you want to talk a little bit about why this organization really resonates with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do teach 3-4-year-olds, but I also teach an after-school program through the YMCA that's STEM related. And it is so amazing, first of all, to see kids excited about science, technology, engineering, coding, all of those things. But to see a girl, and specifically a girl who's in a minority, is just so much more incredible because it's so rare, and it hurts my heart to know that. And so I'm just so excited for charities and programs like this that bring more awareness to girls and also girls of minorities.
Yes. So definitely a really cool organization. If you guys don't know anything about it, please check it out because they're doing some really cool things. And like Courtney said, not only are they really empowering girls, like young girls, I think it said like girls ages 7 to 14, I don't remember. I think it was like up to 14 or something like that. But they are targeting especially Black girls, which is amazing. So definitely check that out. It's a New England Betty Boop. Thank you so much for your super chat that is going to help support Black Girls Code. Okay, so going back to your ninja hacks when it comes to utilizing Instagram and even YouTube, like so genius to just wear something really cute from your closet because you have a ton of stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, like people are going to see you and be like, where can I get that? And you're like, in my closet. Like it's very simple. Like the link is down below, And like you said, you have a pretty large YouTube or Instagram following. Can you talk to us a little bit about maybe like how long it took you to grow that and like what you did to create that following?
Yeah, so honestly, I think the biggest thing is to not worry. You just don't worry about the following, and the following will come. Just authentically be yourself, show up, speak your truth, and try to speak knowledge to others to uplift and to help. And then you'll just attract your tribe. I think honestly that's the best advice I have.
Yeah. And I think that's so in line with what everyone has been saying. Like that's exactly what Coco from Color Resale said last night too. Like just authentically be yourself. And sometimes that involves like quieting the noise around you so that you can really figure out like who you are, what you stand for. And I feel like too, your Instagram feed, if I scroll through it, it's so aesthetically pleasing because like you kind of went through a phase where it'd be a picture of you like modeling something in front of your mirror. And it was just literally like, we couldn't even see your face, but it's you wearing something beautiful. And then the next picture was just something about reselling. And then it was back to you in something. And you'd always be talking about the brand and like educating your following on, this particular brand and why it's worth picking up, or even this brand stopped selling for me. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on it? And so it's aesthetically pleasing to look at, but also there's so much knowledge built into your captions. How much time do you think it takes you, like, let's say for just one post, to really think through it from like taking the picture to writing out the caption?
So I have, like I said earlier, it's all about creativity. So a lot of it is just spur of the moment. And then sometimes I'm like, I put so many spelling mistakes in that. Let me redo that. if you look through my captions, probably every single one has been edited because I just get so excited. Yeah. And then I go back and I'm like, wow, there's a 3-year-old.
Yeah. It's hard when you're so excited and you're just trying to like get everything that's in your brain out before it starts to flit away. Yep, I've done the same thing. Nurse Flipper, you are amazing. Said she wanted to contribute to the cause, and thank you, ladies, again for wonderful content. Dolphin, dolphin, dolphin. Thank you so much. You are amazing. It is. It's a wonderful cause, and thank you for the super chat. Okay, now I feel like one of the things that you are gaining some attention for is your ThreadUp knowledge. Like you are pretty generous with the information about ThreadUp that you share. And you seem to be pretty good at it, you know? So can you talk to us about your ThreadUp journey, like maybe when you started and like how you learned what you know about ThreadUp?
Yeah, so for me, it was a lot of trial and error. I know there's a few people who sell courses. Mm-hmm. If I could go back, I might have gone that route instead, just because I did spend a lot of money and a lot of time doing it. But over the last 2 years, I live in Los Angeles, and we have these things at our Goodwill called Dollar Days. So I would go in on Dollar Days, and I would just pick up random brands, and I would send them into ThreadUp and just see what was moving and what was not moving. And then probably just like right before everyone went into stay-at-home orders, I just decided to take everything out of my Poshmark closet. So if you look at my Poshmark closet right now, I have like 35 listings, but I just took everything out and I just sent everything to ThreadUp because I think that it's just the amount of buyers on ThreadUp and the fact that buyers can bundle things together. Mm-hmm. It's really great for items that are not big ticket items. So like the tank tops or blouses mm-hmm. or things that people really wouldn't want to spend $7 shipping on. I think it's so great to send those to ThreadUp if you know what brands.
Yeah.
But it took me 1.5 years, 2 years to start figuring out kind of what brands to send in. Yeah. And it's weird because some things that I would never, ever put on Poshmark just sell like fire on ThreadUp, and then vice versa. There's some things that sell for so much money on Poshmark for me, but I can't even get them to move for pennies over on ThreadUp. So, mm-hmm. And I also want to say, I think the big misconception is that it has to be a luxury brand to do well mm-hmm. on ThreadUp. And I'm telling you all right now, that is not true. If you start experimenting, there are so many other brands like Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein can do amazing on mm-hmm. ThreadUp. It just depends on if you're picking up something that's in style and that's also currently in season.
Mm. Which seasonality right now I feel like is hard because they're so backed up. They're like 14 weeks behind or something. Okay, we're going to come back to ThreadUp, but before we do, I want to shout out some more super chats because you guys are all so amazing and so generous. So Cardiff Closet, thank you so much. I just started following Cardiff Closet, by the way, on Instagram today because holy cow, she's so cute and I love her aesthetic and everything that she's doing on her Instagram. So if you guys are not following her, please check her out. Dapper Tiger, my man, Sam, thank you so much. He said, thank you for the knowledge. Glad this is going to a great cause. Sam has a great YouTube channel. He's killing it over on Mercari. So if you guys are into learning about like you do a lot of electronics and like video games and stuff, Sam. So if you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, make sure that you are checking him out. Creole Care Box, holy cow, $15. Thank you so much. Thanks for supporting and blessing the reselling and social movements. As a new Black reseller, I am not okay on many levels. It is amazing to know that there are so many others who care. That is so like, that just gave me chills and goosebumps. Yeah, and it's totally okay to not be okay. And I think there are a lot of us who are just not okay. And we have to figure out what are different things that we can do to feel like we're helping. You know, I think for me, I've just been feeling so helpless and just feeling so like, what can I do to contribute? You know, just so antsy. And so this is a very small thing. And if you guys have any suggestions on other things that we can do, like, please let us know. But thank you so much for the $15 super chat that will go to Black Girls Code and also for that extremely warm and wonderful comment. And then last but not least for now, new to you, Steels and Specialties. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thanks for teaching us and the kids, bringing us together to support each other in great causes. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of supporting something amazing. Holy cow! One more came in. Thank you, Dresden Avenue. Dresden Avenue, you are awesome for the $2.99 super sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Dresden Avenue also has a YouTube channel, so definitely make sure that you go and check her out. But so many great things happening here. You guys are awesome, like the best audience that anyone could ask for. And just a reminder, today's charity or organization is Black Girls Code. Okay, I'm like blown away right now.
I know, it's
crazy. Okay, keep them coming if you want. We're gonna go back to ThreadUp because I do have a question for you. And I think that you've talked about this a lot on your Instagram because I think you get a lot of people who are like, can you just tell me like all the good brands that I should be looking for? And like, I think you are pretty generous with that information, but also it's like you worked for that information, you know, like you put in a lot of time and energy and risk in picking up stuff, even though sometimes it was for $1, but sometimes I'm sure you paid more. So it's not really fair to just be like, well, let me just tell you all the brands. But can you talk to us a little bit about how you would track the information as you were figuring things out? Because I feel like I would just feel like, oh, I think I sold that Ann Taylor dress for a lot, but I can't remember, you know, like, is there a system that you had to just keep track of everything related to ThreadUp? Because it's a lot, but also like to keep track of what you were learning regarding what brands did well for you and what didn't?
Yeah, love this question because this is so funny because I remember I was just talking to my friend Jen of British Posher about my Excel love a little while ago. I love to make different Excel sheets and kind of run statistical numbers. So I do it in a couple of different ways. So the first thing I like to do is I live in Los Angeles where I have a lot of different stores that I can go to. So I have data on how much I'm profiting from each store.
Wow.
So I know which store is truly my honey hole and not just stealing my heart, because the one I thought was my honey hole was not after I looked at the numbers.
Wow.
And I kind of take that same idea and I apply it to the different brands. And so I'm seeing what brands, two different things, what they're selling for, but also how fast they're selling. Because if I'm in a brand and it's only selling for like $10 or $15, but I'm getting it for $1 and I'm able to flip it the first day it's listed on ThreadUp, I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not selling for a super high amount of money, that's worth my time.
Especially if it's consistently selling within the first couple of days that it's being listed on ThreadUp, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so you are a spreadsheet queen. This is something that has been pretty common between, I am not, like Mogi yelled at me the other day for still using Excel. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, move to Google Sheets. And I'm like, I know, like I'm like 1,000 years old. I don't know. And my spreadsheets are a laughing matter. Like there's nothing impressive about them, but you're tracking where you're getting stuff. And then I don't know if I misheard you, but did you say you're tracking by brand? Is that what you're doing for that?
I track by brands. There's two columns, how much it's selling for and how fast it's selling for. So some brands that I like to send in, they take the full 90 days to sell or 60 days to sell. Crazy. I hate it. But then the others, they'll sell during the bidding phase or right when they go live.
Yeah. So
for those who don't know, ThreadUp now has a bidding phase where during the first 12 hours that your item is live, people are able to bid on it. So sometimes you'll get sales to that. And then once the bidding phase is over, it goes just to the general, you can buy this now.
Yeah. What has been your experience? Well, okay, no, let me rewind. Do you raise your prices? Because I think one piece of knowledge that's out there now that like everyone does, and you know, this knowledge has been shared in many videos and many whatever, but you know, a lot of people say when you send stuff into ThreadUp, you should raise the prices on the different items to like the maximum amount that you're allowed to, right? So do you do that before the bidding phase starts or do you do it after?
All right, great question. I'm gonna divert and then come back. First thing, when your bag is first processed and you see what they would have priced it at, if it's your first couple bags that you're selling in, take a screenshot of that, because they are pricing it there because those are where it would, they're pricing it to sell quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So take pictures of that in a file on your computer and remember that. So just in case it's not selling, you can revert back and see what price what range they originally wanted, because you don't want to go too low with an item. The second thing is, yes, you want to raise your prices immediately, even before bidding.
Okay.
So you can go in and you can type in $999 and it will tell you the highest amount that you can list that item for. And sometimes that might not be high enough. If that happens, use the chat feature Monday through Friday, business hours, and you can get a ThreadUp representative. They're usually pretty quick about answering you in a couple hours if you do it that way, and just say, hey, item number XYZ, originally it would have cost this much money. Can you please change that so it reflects that? And then you're able to list for more money.
Nice. Okay, I want to go back to the first thing you said, because I want to make sure that people understand, because that's a brilliant tip and something that I have not been doing. So actually, I did it for my most recent bag that just processed, but I don't know if I did it for the one before. So Courtney said you should take a screenshot of what they wanted to price your items at first, because that is historically what ThreadUp has realized items will sell for. So when you go to drop prices, you should keep them around that price, because that's, you know, them pricing it to sell. Love that. Also, I want to highlight D. Nicole Life in Moderation. You are awesome, because you are always giving super chats. Thank you so much. She said, glad you're feeling better, Becky. This is awesome. Last night, if you guys tuned in to the live with Coco from Color Resale, I was like having a mini asthma attack like during the live, and I just like didn't know how to like nicely be like, hold on guys, let me grab my inhaler so I can breathe normally. I do feel like 100% normal right now, so thank you so much. I'm sorry if like people could tell that I was like just struggling to catch a good breath, but I mean, it turned out fine. It was okay. Okay, so going back to your tips. So you said, yes, go ahead and change the prices to everything to their maximum amount, because that's the smart thing to do, and you talk to us about how to do that. How many boxes do you think you have in right now that are like up for sale, or maybe even, you know, waiting to get processed?
Yeah, I have 14 that are currently for sale, and I have 13 that are waiting to be processed. The 13 that are waiting to be processed will not be processed until like September or October. But I will say recently I've been using the expedited version. So I'm spending around, I think it's like $26 to A, get my items back, and B, have it processed quickly. They say they'll process it within 1 week. Every single box, this has been 4 or 5 boxes now, has processed the day they get it in.
Wow. Yes. So that's worth it.
Yes, it's so worth it. And especially if they're accepting, if you're sending in a lot of items, I like to go to Home Depot and get the medium-sized boxes. So I can fit like 30 to 40 pieces in there. So if you have a lot of pieces per box, it is so worth spending that $25. And you know what? Tax write-offs.
What is the Home Depot boxes?
Oh, those are write-off too. But also
$2 boxes. You're talking about the expedited, like that price, as well as the return assurance.
That's what you're paying for your business. Yeah.
Okay. See, like you're just dropping fire right now, because like these are not things that I'm thinking about. I am so cheap. I'm like, fine, I'll just send my box. I will wait till December. Like I'm just like, it's totally fine. But you're absolutely right. It's a tax write-off. Like, holy cow, my mind is blown right now. That's awesome.
So what I would say, Becky, if this is like kind of where you're at, I try to send in a couple boxes at a time. I would say have a couple boxes that are just like I'm feeling off the water, I don't really care. Yeah. Then have a box where you're like, this is fire. I know all these are awesome. And let these ones go in just regular, and then have this one go in expedited, because then what will happen is you're setting yourself up for more success down the line.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, because they are backed up quite a bit. They're not even like sending out kits right now. Like they're not even letting you print your own shipping labels for sure. They're like forcing you to go down the route where they like send you their bag that you can only fit like, I don't know, maybe 15 pounds in there or something. And people have been saying like, you can get the bags and you can cut out the label and put it on your own box. Yeah. But like, they're not sending out very many at a time. So they're just trying so hard, it seems like, to try and catch up with all the inventory that I'm sure they've gotten during quarantine because people couldn't even dump their stuff off at Goodwill and stuff. But those are amazing tips. So going back to the bidding thing, because that is like still really new to me and hard for me to wrap my head around. Have you had a lot of success with that, even with raising prices to their max? Have you ever had things sell through that bidding process?
So the bidding process is a blessing and a curse, because if you get an item where it's not allowing you to price it high enough, like I recently had a Max Mara coat that I sent in that I was like, this is going to sell for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They put it under assorted brands. Don't tell me why. So it went to bidding, and the highest I could list it for was $50. I would have died if someone would have bought it. Thankfully, no one did. And I was in contact with them, and after bidding, they were able to switch the brands, because I had photos of it, because I'd had it listed on Poshmark. So I was like, here's the tag, please double check, and this is like a $2,000 coat. Allow me to list it for more. Yeah. So I could see it potentially being terrible. But oh man, Becky, I don't know what I would have done if that would have sold.
I mean, so, you know, you're in LA, so you're able to find some really cool brands, probably pretty often, at least more often than me. But my very first time I went to the bins, I went in St. Louis and I found a pair of pants by Etro. And I'm like freaking out, right? Because I'm just like, I'd never seen it before in my life. I knew it was really good, but like, this is like the nicest thing I've ever found ever in my life. I sent it into ThreadUp. They priced it as Entro, like ENRO, the boutique brand. So I saw it right away and I'm like, no. Like, this is not Entro. This is ERO. Like, please fix this. So they pulled it right away. But then, like, it just said unavailable for a while. And then it was like that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I should have been more diligent. But then finally, I think, a couple months had passed. No, probably more than a couple months. And I finally reached out to them and I was like, what is taking you so long to fix, the pants and put the right label on there? And they were like, we don't know where the pants are. Like, they had lost them. So they sent me an amount for what they thought the pants would have sold for. And I think they tried to send me like $20. And I was like, no, I think you're going by Entro again. Like, and so I just kept bothering them. And at the end of the day, like, I don't remember how much they sent me. It was a decent amount, probably not as good as it could have been. But like, ThreadUp, while it can be a really cool way to make some money, I know you've spoken about this too on your channel, there are also a lot of downfalls to it, or just some flaws in the system. It's a pretty difficult thing that they're trying to do. They're trying to siphon through so much used clothing, and some things will ultimately get lost in the cracks. But overall, though, is ThreadUp something that you would recommend to sellers as another income stream?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say dip your toes in first, and then see how you feel. Because it's not for everyone. So on my Instagram specifically, I try to be really transparent with everything. And I've heard a lot of horror stories about that too. And I share those. And there's a highlight on my Instagram if anyone wants to go read, to hear the bad experiences people have had, because I think it's so important to hear both sides of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it definitely is. So what are some of your tips for people who have either never tried ThreadUp before, or, they're very new to it, don't really know what to expect? Just any tips for some newbies to ThreadUp?
If you can hit a sale, or you already have a lot of inventory that you're meh about, I would try to send in brands that you find a lot in your stores. So for example, I find a lot, like I talked about earlier, Calvin Klein. I find a lot of Calvin Klein. I hate selling Calvin Klein on Poshmark. Personally, it just doesn't move for me. But like I said, it sells so well on ThreadUp for me. Same thing with Ann Taylor, the black Ann Taylor label. hate selling it on Poshmark, but I can get great payouts over on ThreadUp. And those are brands that are really readily available to me in my area that I know I can get cheap. So find items that you can source for cheap, that you can find a plethora of, and just grab like one of each brand just to see and send those in, just so you have a wide range. So don't send in like 12 pairs of Madewell jeans. Send in 12 different like jean brands, just so you can get a feel for what's going to move.
Yeah, that's funny, because I did what you just said not to do, which is in like one of my last boxes, I think I literally sent in like a box of Chicos. Like I was just like, I found all this Chicos. Here you go. Like, I don't want it. I don't want to sell it. But I like your idea, especially for people who are brand new to it. You know, don't throw all of your eggs in that Chico's basket or like that Calvin Klein basket or whatever, but try out new things, figure out what works for you. I don't remember. It was you, like you had shared about an Ann Taylor dress that you had bought for yourself and it just didn't fit you very well. So you sent it into ThreadUp. And how much was your payout for that dress?
I don't remember. It was a good amount though, wasn't it?
A good amount. It was like, I mean, it was definitely over 50, I want to say. And I was just shooketh. Like, I was like, what in the world? Because like you said, Ann Taylor is so hard to move on Poshmark.
Yeah. Ann Taylor, I've been noticing I'll give you guys this one. So Ann Taylor, like the dresses that could be worn in offices, like the with the beautiful prints, and it has to be that black, even though they don't show the tag on ThreadUp, it has to be the black tag. Those like business casual professional dresses just do so well.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing though, oh man, now that I think about this too though, because I've gotten burned a couple times, I really dislike sending in petite and tall size to ThreadUp because people only see that if they specifically have the petite filter on. It is really, really hard to move tall and petite size items on ThreadUp in comparison to other platforms I've sold on before.
That's so
like me, all my personal jeans are tall. There's someone driving by with blaring music. Sorry, you guys.
That's okay. I'm gonna get a copyright claim on this video. No, that's okay.
But yeah, like all my jeans are tall. I'm not gonna send those into ThreadUp because most of my jeans I've sent in, they're wonderful brands. I've had to reclaim them because they're a size tall.
So the problem is that people are not finding them in search because let's say they're searching for just a size 8. So if they're searching for like size 8, your jeans aren't going to show up unless they also have the tall filter selected. I see.
Yeah. And it's hard too because like on the sidebar, when you go undersizing, you don't even see that unless you go undersizing and then scroll to the very bottom. So
that's interesting. That's good to know. And I do feel like on Poshmark and on eBay and stuff, there is a market, like people are specifically looking for things that are, you know, for taller length or like the petite ones, because again, we've established you and I are extremely opposite of one another. You are here, I am here. And so that is so interesting. I would have never thought of that. And it's so shocking to me that things sell on ThreadUp at all because they just do like the picture of the front and of the back. Like I'm always just like, how do they sell it? You can't, like you said, you don't even see a picture of the brand or like of the tag to see, you know, is this a petite? Is there anything special about it? So that to me is always super shocking too, because I'm just like, they could probably invest a little bit more time in these pictures. No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, they get things wrong so much. I just sold I think it was really a New York and Company dress, but they listed it as a Barney's New York dress. It's this gorgeous. It's truly this gorgeous dress. But I was like, I emailed them and I was like, hey, just so you know, this label is wrong, very wrong.
Someone's going to be very upset when they get this.
But then it sold. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get a return. Somehow I did not get a return. But that is two very, very different. And it sold for like $89 too. So I was really surprised that the person didn't want to return the $89 New York and Company dress.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Yeah. And then I think too, like one thing I've been finding just as I've been sending some stuff in is the like, nicer materials will do better, like more natural, like the silks, the wools, like they kind of almost automatically up the price a little bit. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's not really the same way on like Poshmark and stuff. Like people say they care, but then like they don't. Like, it doesn't really seem to do much for the resale value just because something is silk or something like that. So that's pretty cool too. If you see something and you're like, this brand is whatever, but it's 100% silk and it's $1, I mean, why not? You may as well.
Yeah. I think too that had a lot to do with I do not know this. This is not fact checked at all, but I personally feel from the types of things that I saw on Poshmark, or rather, that they have a older demographic than Poshmark does, and I feel like older demographics are leaning more towards the cashmeres and the linens and the silks and the nice wool comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, out of curiosity, why did you decide to go down that route where you just completely emptied your Poshmark closet and you just sent everything in the ThredUp?
So I have a baby on the way. Nobody knows coming out here.
Oh my gosh, I was not trying to make you say that, but
and space is like a real thing in houses. So I want to have a very specifically curated Poshmark closet where it's things that I aesthetically love and would wear, but it's also things that sell for over $100. So I want to have, like, if you start to look in my closet now, you'll see I'm slowly building that up. So that way, come the school year, when everything's in full swing, if I do make a sale, I know that it's a sale that's actually bringing in a lot of money for me to go home and to package things up, because I also go to college. So for me, for shipping, it's like I'm working and I'm, with the kiddos, then I have to go home and ship something out, and I have to go to my classes. Thankfully, they'll probably all be online this year, but
this is very true. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, but just kind of getting in the swing of things, because down the line, that's how I would like my Poshmark to operate. And then all of the rest of the hundreds of things that I know will sell, but are not going to sell for as much, somebody else is doing that for me, and it's not taking up that space. Because my Posh room, which will soon be the nursery, is just filled with boxes right now, Becky. Filled. And my husband is like, "Are you a hoarder?"
This is a question that all of us have been asked at one point in our lives is, are you a hoarder? Every day my husband is like, you realize I'm a very patient man. And I'm like, I do. Like, I'm very thankful. So many people saying congrats and all that good stuff, because that is amazing. Congratulations. You totally did not have to announce that here, but congrats. We're so happy for you. Nick Pick Thrift does have a question for you. And Nick Pick Thrift, you guys, also has a really cool and super fun channel. So definitely check her out. But she asked, what is your favorite category to sell within like that ladies category?
I love midi dresses. And I think that's just because what I personally really love to wear. So dresses, and specifically midi dresses, are my absolute favorite.
Which is so funny, because I feel like a lot of people always talk about how much they hate listing dresses or like selling dresses. So I love that your favorite thing is something that is just like some other people's just like, worst nightmare. Awesome. Okay. Veronica asks, any tips on photographing black and very dark navy pieces?
Great question. You're going to want really good light. Whereas before in the chat, if you were here and I was saying don't photograph in direct light, I might move a black or a really dark navy piece to direct light just so you can get those details. Really make sure you lint roll before you take those photos, though, because you can have like an item right out of the dryer, and for some reason there's like still particles on it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a lint roller, do the tape thing. It works too.
Yeah. No, that is the worst. Just how easily those flaws or just those things, like you said, show up on those colored items. It's so annoying. Okay, Nick Pick Thrift also wants to know, what's your closet name? Oh, wait, that's not for you. Sorry. That's
no,
what is your closet name? Okay. Cardiff Closet asks, Courtney, I'm wondering if you have any time management tips. And you're going to have to up the ante on this one come, very soon with baby on the way too.
That is a really great question. Coco had so many great tips during her conversation with you. It's really just about prioritizing and also knowing how long things are going to take you. So if you only have 20 minutes and you know what you can do in those 20 minutes, you're able to prioritize what's most important to you. For me, most people don't know this, but even though I live in LA and I have access to a lot of really great thrift stores, I do most of my sourcing online. So for me, a lot of things happen at night when I'm in bed and can't sleep because all the things running through my head that I have to do the next day. So that's a great time for me to source, whereas afternoons or breaks are great times for me to list the drafts that I have.
I love that. That is great. So yeah, it's just, you can do a lot with 20 minutes if you're purposeful about it and you have kind of a running list of like, these are the things that I'd like to do, but this is what needs to get done right now for my business. So I love that.
And don't be afraid to let things go, I would say as well, because like I loved in Mogi's 5 how she talked about not sharing anymore or not listing measurements anymore. Like if there are things that like you need to cut out and that's what you need to do for your business, do it for your business. There's no perfect way to resell. It's what works for you. So there are so many different ways to be successful, whether you're full-time or part-time.
Yeah, for sure. If you're comfortable sharing, and you don't have to, but when are you due? When's your baby due? February. Yay. Oh, so fun. Fun. I mean, it's funny because all of my friends who have like their first babies, they're just like, nobody told me. And I'm like, no, we did. We tried to explain it to you. There's just no explaining, like you just have to go through the fire of like that first child. But also like, I'm very excited for you because your life is about to change, but in such a beautiful and amazing way, but, and people have been saying like, you're going to be such an amazing mom and this and that. And you absolutely are going to. So, we're just so excited. Okay. Roth at Love said, hold on, YouTube or thrift flipping? I've been doing thrifting forever. Oh, okay. So, but don't know where to start with YouTube. Any advice on how to maybe incorporate like thrifting into a YouTube channel?
Just start. Doesn't have to be perfect. Your first videos are going to suck. Mine sucked. No offense. Becky sucked.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't even seen your first videos. I've only seen your more recent things, but everybody sucks at first, and you just go from there.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I actually, she's in the chat right now. Chloe and I did a podcast episode for her podcast, and I was talking about how my first 3 videos actually, Courtney, were my best ones, but that's because my friend, it's because my friend who's a freelance videographer, he came and like did them for me. So he like filmed them with his like professional equipment. He brought his lighting, he edited them for me. He's the one that made my incredible. I know. But then what happened was after that 3rd video, he was like, hey, I got a lot on my plate. Like, you got to do this by yourself. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do it. So it went from like here to like, I'm sure if anyone even watched those first 3 videos, because at that time there are like 8 people subscribed to my channel. I'm sure they were like, wait, what just happened? Like, why did the quality go down so much? So for your information, sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes you start really high.
Anomaly.
And then you
go. Because I'm curious.
Yeah, no. I think like how I am on film is not, I think that definitely sucked because it's like you said, when you first start, it's just so awkward. You're just talking to like a little, circle on your phone or on your whatever. And it's just so weird, but you could potentially be addressing hundreds or thousands or, however many people. And it's really awkward. So I think that piece of it was definitely like my worst. But like the quality of the video, like the lighting, everything was so good. And then that all went downhill, but that's okay. Veronica, thank you so much. She said, appreciate you ladies and everyone in the chat. Veronica, wasn't it you that had to go earlier? Did you come back? If so, thank you so much. But thank you also for the $2 super chat. And she also wanted to remind everyone to hit that thumbs up, everybody. So yes, please make sure that you do. And just a reminder, all of you wonderful and lovely people who are giving any sort of super chat or anything like that, all of your money today is going to Black Girls Code. And one reason why this was the organization that we landed on is because they are all about equipping especially Black girls with the ability to code and do other STEM related things, just to raise up, Black women in the future. So that's a really cool thing, and something that's really close to Courtney's heart as well. So Veronica said, I'm photographing on the side, so I'm half here. Love it. We're so happy to have you.
Becky, I want to take over for a second, and I want to ask everybody in the chat who's a part of the listing challenge, I want to know how much you guys have listed today.
Ooh, okay. Did you guys hear her? How much have you listed today? So if you are in the listing challenge, this is honesty time. No, I told them yesterday. So in the email that I had to send out today, I was like, confession, I did not hit my goals. I was like, I did not hit my goals on Wednesday. Like, I'm so sorry as a fearless leader to have failed you. But, and we talk about that a lot too. Like sometimes life just happens and you are just not able to do what you set out to do, and that's okay. All right, so Dina Cole so far with the 6 items. Love it. Over 500 people, and 6 items is what we've listed today. So I'm joking. Okay, I don't know how to say her name. I'm going to butcher it, but she has listed 5 items, which is awesome. And Michelle CD was too late to officially join. That's totally okay. You should have totally just let me know, and I would have let you join. But I'm glad you're still doing it. Chelsea with the $4.99 super chat. So Chelsea, you guys, we're basically neighbors. We live like 10 minutes away from each other. So love to see that. Thank you. You're both awesome. Thanks for the excellent advice and for choosing such a great nonprofit to support. Thank you, Chelsea. And Chelsea also has a brand new YouTube channel, 2 videos up. So definitely go check her out and support her as well. Toy is listing as we speak. 11 so far. Awesome. Listed 10, relisted 7. That's great. Tracy has listed 10, which is double her goal of 5 for the day. I love that. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of going kind of fast now. A seller hunt, 10 items, and Caitlin just did 2. Awesome. Kathy, 4. You guys are doing so great. I have not listed anything yet. That's what I'm gonna do after we get off. I've been editing pictures so that I can list when we're done, and I've been cross listing. That's what I spent my time doing this morning. Yeah. Oh my goodness. A couple more new to you steals and specialties unofficially joining. Good. 7 relisted, 1 new, and they've been hanging, steaming, depoting during the video today. Awesome. I love it too when people are multitasking during these videos. People are always like, I'm doing this, but I'm listening, I promise. And I'm like, yay. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for being here. And I feel like you dropped so much very useful knowledge that people can right now take and apply to their reselling businesses, whether it's about photography, whether it's about ThreadUp, whether it's about, all these different things. Do you have any last words of wisdom, especially for our, part-time resellers? Because there are a lot of those in the chat, but any last thoughts for us?
Yeah, just do what you love, because as I said earlier, there's no right way to do reselling. So if you find a way to do it that you thoroughly enjoy, that's going to be the best way for you to do it. So find what you love and stick to that.
Yes. And I think, that's why I love too what you were talking about as far as why you made the choice to send everything to ThreadUp, aside from the fact that you're having a baby and you need to clear space. But, you want to only have in your closet the things that, with your very limited time, when it sells, you're excited to ship it out, and I think that that's valid and fair. And I think some people feel like, well, in order to be taken seriously, I need 500 things in my closet. But that's, not the case. It really depends on your context, your life, what's going on at that moment. So for you to have such a, what's the word I'm looking for? ThreadUp is very hands off. It's just, you send them stuff, they take care of things for you, and you're still making this very passive income. And to only have to be super hands-on about the stuff that you're super passionate about, I don't think that that's a model that a lot of people talk about, but it's going to work for you, and that's really cool that you were able to share that. because I think people need to hear that, you know. Cardiff Closet said, great advice. And if you don't love it, send it to ThreadUp. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know anything about ThreadUp's audience as far as how big it is? Because, you know, it's like we know about like Poshmark, you know, there's like X number of, I'd be curious to know that too. But
I wonder if I know they release statements here and there, but I'm going to be honest, I don't pay attention to them that much, even though I probably should.
Yeah.
Because for all you guys, every once in a while, they'll do like bonus brands, and they will send out a list of brands that they'll give you more money for.
Oh,
and
wow.
if they higher percentages for. So always be on the lookout for when they send those out. For a while, I think like Madewell and there were like a couple that were like 15% more payout on top of. But yeah, I haven't seen them release any numbers on audience sizes.
Yeah. And those like bonus brands, that information is usually just sent out in an email?
I think I've got it in an email once, but I always like to, once a week, I check their homepage because a lot of times important announcements like that, they'll have listed. And so they had a list one time, and I was using that as a kind of go-to on the brands that were not luxury of what I should be picking up.
Interesting. And holy cow, I'm going to butcher this as well. Desirado Finds, oh, maybe I got it. Diane said they have an eBay store, which surprises me.
That's
crazy. I did not know that. Wow. I'm always shocked that more places don't have like eBay or Poshmark stores, you know. I think it was Chelsea actually, who, you know, did a $4.99 super chat a little bit ago. She let me know that one of the consignment stores in our area has a Poshmark closet. I thought that was so funny, but I mean, everyone's got to make money somehow, you know. So, all right. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for being here. You guys, for real, if you are not following her on YouTube and Instagram, I don't know what, you know, what are you thinking? Like, you need to be following her. She is one, even just for the sake of all of the ThreadUp knowledge that she has and what she's sharing. I know I've been learning so much about ThreadUp just from people like Courtney and Chriselle and all these other people who they're not like necessarily putting out like information in their captions, but when you see what's selling for them, that's also how you can learn what brands to look for and stuff, is just by seeing what other people are selling and for how much. But Courtney also has just beautiful pictures, you know, beautiful model shots of herself in some of these clothes and just great tips on how to, you know, run a part-time reselling business. But I think her advice is even, you know, great for people who are selling full-time. You know, it doesn't only apply to part-time sellers. And so, holy cow, thank you so much for being here and for everything that you've shared with us. You are so amazing and generous with your information. And we are so excited for you to go through this next period of your life. Like, holy
cow. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. And thank you so much to everyone who donated to Black Girls Code. That truly means so much to me. Even just anyone who showed up here at all. You guys are awesome.
Yes. And if you want more of Courtney, Instagram and YouTube, definitely check out her channel there as well. Very informative. You guys are awesome. I hope you have a great night of either listing or relisting or even just relaxing if that's what you need to do. You do you. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow with Jessica, who was in the chat. I don't know if she still is, from JS Drifts and Flips. Holy cow, I'm so excited to hang out with my friend tomorrow. So if you guys can join us, it'll be the same time, 7 o'clock. And we'll be talking about all things, you know, reseller related, but specifically about a little bit what, you know, Courtney and I talked about today too, which is creating the perfect listing. So how do you create a listing that people are going to see and want to buy from you with? So definitely tune in tomorrow as well. Thank you guys. And thank you, Courtney.
Bye.
Bye.